The body camera timestamp reads 2:47 p.m., October 26, 2023. The lens captures a quiet suburban street in Riverside County, the kind of neighborhood where people mow their lawns on Saturday mornings and wave to their neighbors. Marcus Bennett had just pulled into his driveway after his regular Thursday workout at the Veterans Center. He was still wearing his navy blue gym shirt, his keys jangling in his hand as he walked up the stone pathway to his front door. He didn't notice the patrol car slowing down at first. Officer Derek Holloway had been driving through the area when the call came in. Suspicious person attempting entry at 2847 Oakmont Drive. The dispatcher's voice was routine, almost bored. Holloway responded immediately. 12 years on the force had given him instincts, he told himself. And those instincts were screaming now as he spotted the black man standing at the front door of the two-story colonial. Holloway pulled to the curb and stepped out, his hand instinctively moving to rest on his duty belt. His body camera was recording. Policy required it for all citizen contacts. But in his mind, this was already an open-and-shut case. Marcus heard the car door slam and turned. A police officer was crossing his lawn with purposeful strides, and something in the man's expression made Marcus's military training kick in. He recognized that look. He'd seen it before. This wasn't going to be simple. "Excuse me," Holloway called out, his voice carrying the weight of authority he'd perfected over the years. "Step away from that residence." Marcus turned fully to face him, his expression calm but his senses heightened. "This is my home, officer. Is there something I can help you with?" Holloway's eyes narrowed. The response was too confident, too composed. In his experience, guilty people either ran or got defensive. This man was doing neither, and somehow that made it worse. "I said step away from the door. We received a call about a break-in at this address." "A break-in," Marcus repeated slowly, his keys still visible in his hand. "At my own house. I need to see identification. Now." Holloway had closed the distance between them, now standing at the edge of the walkway. His hand hadn't left his belt. Marcus took a slow breath. He'd been through this dance before. Different cities, different uniforms, same script. "Officer, I'm reaching for my wallet. My driver's license is inside. My movements will be slow and visible. Keep your hands where I can see them." Holloway's voice jumped an octave, his hand moving to his weapon. "My hands are visible," Marcus said evenly, pulling his wallet out with 2 fingers. "My ID shows this address. 2847 Oakmont Drive. I'm the homeowner." Holloway stepped closer, invading Marcus's personal space. Put the wallet on the ground and stepped back 3 feet. Marcus's jaw tightened. "Officer, I'm standing on my own property. I'll show you my identification, but I'm not putting my wallet on the ground like a suspect." The air between them crackled with tension. Holloway's face flushed red. "Are you refusing a lawful order?" Marcus kept his voice level, though every instinct told him this situation was escalating fast. "I'm not refusing anything. I'm offering to hand you my identification like any law-abiding citizen would. My name is Marcus Bennett. I've lived at this address for 3 years." Holloway's radio crackled to life. The dispatcher's voice cut through the tension. "Unit 72, be advised, registered homeowner at 2847 Oakmont Drive is Marcus Bennett, black male, age 34. Caller may have incorrect address. Please confirm." For a brief moment, Marcus felt relief. The system was working. The dispatcher had done her job, verified the information, and now this would end. But Holloway's hand moved to his radio, and instead of acknowledging the message, he turned the volume knob down. Not off, just low enough that the next transmission would be barely audible. Marcus's eyes widened slightly. "Officer, did you just turn down your radio?" "Don't tell me how to do my job," Holloway snapped, stepping even closer. They were less than 3 feet apart now. "I don't care what dispatch says. I'm looking at a suspicious person who matches a description, and you're being uncooperative." "What description?" Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. "Black male, athletic build, dark clothing," Holloway said without hesitation, his eyes scanning Marcus up and down. Marcus glanced down at his gym clothes, then back up. "That describes half the men on this street, officer. Did your caller mention that the homeowner is also a black man who works out regularly?" "Don't get smart with me." Holloway's hand returned to his weapon. "Turn around. Hands on the door. Now." "I'm not doing that." The words hung between them like a lit fuse. Holloway's face went from red to crimson. "You're refusing a direct order from a law enforcement officer," Holloway said, his voice dropping to a dangerous growl. "That's obstruction. I can arrest you right now." Marcus remained perfectly still, his body language non-threatening but firm. "Officer Holloway." He read the nameplate deliberately, committing it to memory. "I'm standing on my own property. I've identified myself. Your dispatcher confirmed my residency. I'm not obstructing anything. If you want to verify I live here, I'll show you my driver's license, my mortgage papers, my utility bills, whatever you need." Holloway's radio squawked again, louder this time. "Unit 7-2, supervisor requesting your status. Please confirm situation at Oakmont Drive." Holloway grabbed his radio. 7-2, code 4. Situation under control. His voice was steady, professional even, but his eyes told a different story. They were locked on Marcus with an intensity that bordered on hatred. "Under control?" Marcus said quietly. "You're harassing a homeowner, you ignored dispatch confirmation, and now you're lying to your supervisor." "Watch your mouth," Holloway hissed, jabbing a finger toward Marcus's chest, but stopping just short of contact. "I've been doing this job for 12 years. I know a criminal when I see one." "A criminal," Marcus repeated, his voice still maddeningly calm. "Based on what crime exactly?" "Standing while black in my own driveway." "Don't play that card with me." Holloway's composure was cracking now, his voice rising. "I don't see color. I see behavior. And your behavior is suspicious." "My behavior?" Marcus's expression didn't change. "I'm literally just trying to enter my own home." Holloway moved even closer, close enough that Marcus could smell the coffee on his breath. "Maybe I should search this house. Make sure everything's legitimate. Make sure you're really who you say you are." Marcus's eyes hardened, but his voice remained controlled. "You don't have a warrant, Officer Holloway. And you don't have my consent. You have nothing except a dismissed call and your own assumptions." The words hit Holloway like a physical blow. His face contorted, and for a moment, Marcus saw the mask slip completely. This wasn't about procedure or safety. This was about ego. This was about a man who couldn't accept being challenged, especially not here, not by someone who looked like Marcus. "You think you're smart?" Holloway's voice was barely above a whisper now, more menacing than when he'd been shouting. "You think you know your rights? Let me tell you something. People like you don't live in neighborhoods like this. Someone bought this house for you, or you're renting it, or you're house sitting. But you don't own it." Marcus felt his heart rate spike for the first time, but not from fear. From recognition. He'd heard variations of this his entire life, but never so blatantly, never from someone in uniform with a badge and a gun. "People like me," Marcus said softly, making sure his words were clear for the body camera still recording on Holloway's chest. "What kind of people are those, officer?" Holloway realized his mistake a second too late. His eyes flicked down to his body camera, then back up. That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" Marcus pressed, his voice still calm but relentless. "Explain to me what people like me means." Before Holloway could respond, a voice called out from across the street. "Officer! Officer, that's Marcus. He lives there." Mrs. Chin stood on her front porch, her phone held up high, recording. She was 72 years old, barely 5 feet tall, but her voice carried across the lawn with surprising force. Holloway spun toward Mrs. Chun, his hand instinctively moving back to his belt. "Ma'am, I need you to go back inside. This is official police business." "Official business?" Mrs. Chin's voice shook, but she didn't lower her phone. "I've lived on this street for 20 years. Marcus is my neighbor. He helps me carry my groceries every week. Ma'am, final warning. Return to your residence, or I'll cite you for interference." Mrs. Chin's eyes widened, but she held her ground. "I'm calling your supervisor right now. This is wrong. Everyone on this street knows Marcus." Holloway's jaw clenched. He turned back to Marcus, but now there was calculation in his eyes. He was aware of the cameras now, his own body camera, Mrs. Chin's phone. The situation was being documented from multiple angles. But instead of de-escalating, Holloway made his choice. "Turn around," he ordered, his hand now gripping his handcuffs. "You're being detained for investigation." "Investigation of what crime?" Marcus asked. "Trespassing. Suspicious activity. Refusal to cooperate with a peace officer." Holloway was building his case in real time, stacking charges that might not hold up in court but would justify what came next. "I haven't trespassed on my own property. I haven't committed any suspicious activity, and I've cooperated with every legal request. Marcus's voice was steady, but his muscles were tense now, preparing for what he knew was coming. Holloway reached out and grabbed Marcus's left arm, trying to spin him toward the door. But Marcus didn't budge. Years of SEAL training had built Marcus's body into something more than athletic. His core strength, his balance, his muscle control, they were all products of carrying 100-pound packs through hostile terrain, of combat conditioning that never really left. Holloway pulled harder, his face straining. Marcus remained rooted like an oak tree. "Stop resisting," Holloway shouted, yanking on Marcus's arm with both hands now. His face was turning purple with exertion and rage. Marcus hadn't moved aggressively, hadn't pulled away, hadn't done anything except stand firm. But he knew what Holloway was doing, creating a narrative. The words "stop resisting" would go in the report, would justify whatever came next. "I'm not resisting," Marcus said clearly, his voice projected for the cameras. "I'm standing still. Officer Holloway is attempting to physically move me without legal justification. My hands are visible. I'm not threatening anyone. This is being recorded." He was narrating for the body camera now, for Mrs. Chin's phone, for whatever investigation would come later. Every word was deliberate, every statement a fact that couldn't be disputed. Holloway released Marcus's arm suddenly and stepped back, his hand moving to his pepper spray. "You're under arrest for resisting a peace officer." "On what grounds?" Marcus's voice remained steady. "I'm standing on my own property. I haven't committed a crime." Another patrol car turned onto Oakmont Drive, its lights flashing but siren silent. Holloway glanced at it, and for the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. The second car pulled up behind Holloway's vehicle. The door opened, and a woman in uniform stepped out, older than Holloway, with sergeant stripes on her shoulders and the bearing of someone who'd seen it all. Her nameplate read Morrison. She took in the scene with sharp, experienced eyes. Holloway aggressive and flushed, Marcus calm but clearly confronted, Mrs. Chin still recording from across the street, the body camera light blinking red on Holloway's chest. "Officer Holloway," Sergeant Morrison's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "Step away from the resident." "Now." Holloway turned, his face a mixture of anger and something else, fear. "Sergeant, this suspect." "I said step away." Morrison's tone left no room for argument. Holloway reluctantly backed away from Marcus, but his body language remained defensive, aggressive. "Sergeant, I responded to a suspicious person call. This individual matches the description and has been uncooperative." "Officer Holloway," Morrison interrupted, her eyes never leaving him. "Is your body camera currently recording?" Holloway's face paled slightly. His hand moved unconsciously to touch the camera on his chest. "Yes, Sergeant." "Good." Morrison's expression hardened. "Return to your vehicle immediately and wait for me there. Do not write any reports. Do not make any calls. Wait." "But Sergeant." That wasn't a request. Holloway opened his mouth, closed it, then turned and walked stiffly back to his patrol car. Marcus watched him go, his arm still tender where Holloway had grabbed him. Morrison turned to Marcus, her demeanor completely different, professional, respectful. "Sir, I'm Sergeant Morrison. I apologize for what just occurred. Can you tell me your name?" Marcus took a breath. "My name is Marcus Bennett. I live here at 2847 Oakmont Drive. I came home from the gym, and Officer Holloway confronted me. I identified myself. Your dispatcher confirmed my residency over the radio." Officer Holloway turned down his radio to ignore that confirmation, grabbed me without cause, and threatened to search my home without a warrant. Morrison's jaw tightened. "Did you strike Officer Holloway or attempt to flee?" "No, ma'am. I remained stationary. I kept my hands visible. Mrs. Chun across the street witnessed everything and has video." Morrison glanced at Mrs. Chun, who nodded, still holding her phone up. "May I see your identification, Mr. Bennett?" Marcus handed her his driver's license without hesitation. Morrison examined it carefully, comparing the address. Her expression shifted, not quite a grimace, but close. "Everything checks out," she said quietly. "Again, I apologize. You have every right to file a formal complaint." "I'll be doing more than that, Sergeant," Marcus said. Morrison handed back Marcus's license and gave him her card. "I understand. The body camera footage will be preserved as evidence. If you need anything else, contact me directly." After both patrol cars finally left, Marcus stood alone in his driveway for a moment, the adrenaline finally catching up to him. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the effort of staying calm for so long. Mrs. Chun hurried across the street. "Marcus, I got everything on video. The whole thing. Should I send it to you?" "Yes, please. And thank you, Mrs. Chun. You didn't have to do that." "Of course I did," she said firmly. "That was wrong. Everyone knows you." Inside his house, Marcus sat at his kitchen table and pulled out his phone. He scrolled to a contact he hadn't called in months and pressed dial. "Jenkins Law Firm. How may I help you?" "I need to speak with Sarah Jenkins." "Tell her it's Marcus Bennett." There was a pause. Then Sarah's familiar voice came on the line. "Marcus? What's wrong?" Marcus took a breath. "Sarah, I need you to file a federal civil rights lawsuit. And I need it done right." "Against who?" "The Riverside County Sheriff's Department. I was just assaulted by one of their officers. At my own home. And I have it all on video, both body camera and cell phone footage." Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then, "Tell me everything." Marcus spent the next 30 minutes recounting every detail. When he finished, Sarah's voice was sharp with controlled anger. "Marcus, this is textbook. Ignored dispatch, physical contact without cause, threatened illegal search, false statements. And you're an attorney who knows his rights. And it's all recorded on his body camera," Marcus added. "We're filing tomorrow," Sarah said. "And Marcus? This officer picked the wrong person to harass." What neither Holloway nor Morrison knew yet was that Marcus Bennett wasn't just a Navy SEAL veteran. He was also a civil rights attorney. Within 48 hours, Marcus had filed a formal complaint and a federal civil rights lawsuit. Sarah Jenkins crafted the legal documents with precision, citing specific case law, constitutional violations, and department policy breaches. They requested the body camera footage through official channels. The sheriff's department tried to delay. They claimed technical difficulties. But Marcus had anticipated this. Sarah filed a motion to compel, and a federal judge ordered the footage released within 72 hours. When the video went public, it exploded. Local news picked it up first, then state outlets. Within a week, it had gone national. The body camera footage showed everything. Holloway's aggression, Marcus's calm compliance, the dispatcher's confirmation that Holloway ignored, the physical grab, the threats, the lies to his supervisor. Internal Affairs opened an investigation immediately. Holloway was placed on administrative leave. But the real destruction came when journalists started digging into his past. They found a pattern. 8 previous complaints over 12 years. 5 involving black residents. 2 settlements the county had paid quietly, hidden from public record. The sheriff's department had known. They'd known for years. And they'd done nothing. The disciplinary hearing lasted 3 days. Marcus sat in the observer section, calm in a tailored suit, while Holloway's career was dissected. The body camera footage played on a large screen. Every word, every ignored warning, every lie. The board's decision was unanimous. Termination. Revocation of peace officer certification. Recommendation for criminal prosecution. The county settled Marcus's lawsuit for $2.3 million 4 months later. Marcus donated half to organizations supporting police accountability and legal aid for victims of misconduct. But more importantly, the department was forced to change. New policies, mandatory bias training, stricter oversight of officers with complaint histories, automatic supervisor notification when dispatch contradicts officer claims, and real consequences for ignoring body cameras. Mrs. Chin's video reached 15 million views. Thousands shared their own stories in the comments. Some found courage to file complaints they'd been too afraid to make. Marcus returned to his quiet life on Oakmont Drive. But he expanded his legal practice, taking more civil rights cases, often pro bono. Justice isn't always swift. But when it comes, it must be absolute.